Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I am reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Wednesday, October the 17th, 2012, and here is today's After the Bell market summary. I want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices closed today. The Dow Jones closed up 5.22, the Nasdaq closed up 2.95, S&P 500 closed up 5.99. Strongest index across the board today was the S&P 500, up 0.41%. And I didn't look at the Russell 2000. I know the Russell 2000 had a nice day today, like we discussed yesterday, because it was in a nice little range. Russell 2000 up 0.85%. So actually, the strongest index out of these four was the Russell 2000. 2000. All right. IWM up 0.90%. So yeah, some nice action. So let's go ahead and start off kicking it off by talking about the Russell here, since we did mention the fact that the Russell still had this little downward channel in play, and for the fact that we were trading that range, if it got back above 83.39, we could have a nice little move to the top side. So now that we're still in this little resistance band, if we get above 84.50, this thing's going to be off to the races. Definitely going to be watching the volume and watching to see what type of a strength it shows intraday. But a move over 84.20 or so should take us up towards 84.5 and then 85. We want to be watching this area to see if we can get back above the opening price of the Friday that we had little inverse that we had a little nasty reversal intraday from the jobs number. All right, that opening price is going to be around 84.60. So if we can get back above 84.60 and start holding, I would assume that we're going to make a move back up towards 85 and a half and then 86. So definitely got the IWM on watch. I'm watching those ETFs, the TNA and the TZA. All right, so that's a spot. That's the IWM. As long as we remain above this 83.26 level, I think we should be in good shape on the Russell. Now let's take a look at the Qs next. Triple Qs. All right, nice little update today. Gap down, but then they bought it right back up. You can see here we're in this little resistance zone from this little consolidation that we had back here last month. Not last month, sorry, back here in August. So we're going to be watching to see if we can get past this little resistance zone. And then if we can get back above 68.65, we should be in good shape to make a move back up towards these levels up here, back up towards say 69.50 or so. Okay, want to see the Qs hold above this 67.41, 67.5 level. All right, let's take a look at the SPY, S&P 500 ETF here. You know, we remain in that nice little upward channel. We did get a well-respected bounce, which we were looking for from this triple support area, which we highlight in the videos that you can find on the wallstreettrading.com website on the upper right-hand side on the My Wall Street TV tab. All right, and then of course, if you guys have not been to our chat room yet, our chat room is mywallstreettv.com. Password to login is smart lowercase. Again, that is mywallstreettv.com. Password to login is smart lowercase, and we pretty much nailed the market on the correct direction today again, as we had some nice setups via some of the methods and strategies that we teach take place on the chart, on the 5-minute chart yesterday, which gauged the market pretty well. Had some. If you guys watched the midday update that I put out today, you can see we were in a nice little upward channel on the ES. Did a little fake breakdown to the bottom side, shook out some shorts, and then the longs came aboard. Matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and show it right here. You can see we had this. Take off the stays. We had this nice little upward channel going to the open from the little rally that we had that was taking place from 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, broke the upward channel, shook some shorts in, sucked them right back out. Nice little bear trap right here. Took it to the long side, and we were trading up, pretty nice for the day. And we call this to the T right here in the chat room. If you guys come to the chat room, you guys can see some of the calls and trades that we make. We caught the Amazon right on the open, as that was one of the main stocks that I've been watching for the past couple of days or so. And we'll take a look at that video here anyway. So let's go back and take a look at the SPY. Next target on the SPY is back up towards the 147.20 area, back up towards this trend line from the range that you can see that we're in between 147 and 145.28. Okay, so the SPY is looking pretty good. If we take a look at the ES on the channel system, because I tweeted out a chart earlier, a picture of the chart earlier, highlighting the fact that are we going to get some trap action, because during the intraday action, right, this candlestick right here, you see how every time we get above this key trend line from this yellow zone right here, we always get a lot of bull trap action here. So during today's session, this was not a full green candle. We had rallied up, but then we came back in, and you can see the green bar was like right here. The body of the candle was right here, and we had a nice little wick. So I was telling my guys in the room, look, if we could hold above 1452.80, we could still get some nice action to the top side, as that's the key trend line. That's the key trend line and key level that we're watching. So let's go back to the other chart of the intraday on the ES. All right, that's when we were right here. So this would have been when the candle was full. This would have been when the candlestick went back below that key trend line, the 1452 and some change. I think it was what did I just say? 1453, call it. So this was when we went back below 1453. So that's what gave us that little wick right there. And then when we got back above that level, that's what gave us a nice little green candle, which we closed in right now. So just having those key inflection points via some of our proprietary analysis and some of just regular price channel analysis allows us to gauge market. And like I told you guys in last night's video, if we get a nice close above this this high right here, right, we could get some nice action. It looks so far that we closed right on it. So if the ES could get a nice little move and hold above this 1457.25 level, we can make a nice move back up towards say 1462. Then we have 1466.09, and then we have 1468. Call it. If we pull back a little bit tomorrow, at the same time I will be watching that key trend line to see if we get a nice little tail off that candle and move higher. That level is going to be coming in around tomorrow, around the 1452 area again. So 1452, guys, a key level to watch on the ES. All right, let's take a look at the volatility index. We're using this volatility index as a gauge, as we always do, obviously, but we're using it as a gauge now since it's coming into this little critical area where it can get a nice little, where it can consolidate on top of this prior resistance or this little prior key level that's acting as an inflection point. So it keeps on chopping around that above and below that level. But you can see how that's the main level to watch on the VIX right now, this little $15 area. So if we can hold above 15, the volatility index may still be trying to have a nice little high base being built here for a move higher. If we break back below 15, start holding below 15 on the volatility index, and we break, of course, yesterday's lows, we can make a nice move lower back down here towards 1356, which is a key support level that we must watch to see if we're going to break below that or hold. You guys know if we break back below that 1356 area, that really leads the market to have a nice little move up, because then we have all this space down here to trade down with no resistance to the left side of that, and you can see that the downward trend line from the channel is still in play. All right, I mean, now I don't know if the volatility index will go all the way down there, so I'm watching the volatility index pretty close, because again, we're coming into crunch time here as we have this upper key trend line that's starting to hold price down, and we have this little support area at 15, kind of compressing the index there. So be on the lookout for a spike in volatility, whether it be for a move in volatility, expansion move, I should say, whether it be to the upside or whether it be a breakdown to the downside. But we're going to get some action here within the next coming week or so on the VIX. I'll keep you guys posted with that. Let's take a look at the euro. I've been on top of this ever since we broke out back here on September 11th. Okay, highlighted the fact that the euro is strong. The market was trading sideways the week, and you can look for the euro to break out. Well, guys, that played out exactly to the T. All right, and that's why the markets are on fire, because the euro is strong and dollar is weak as well. And you could thank the overseas people for that, as supposedly there's no hope that Spain doesn't need a bailout or something, so the euro traded higher. I'm not sure of the news, but I just know that the euro is trading stronger. And the euro, next target on the euro that I have is up here towards 133, up here towards this key trend line. Where does that key trend line come from? Well, if I remove all my channels, well, actually, I don't want to remove the channels because it was important. You can see right here that that's basically the back test trend line of this big symmetrical triangle wedge pattern that we broke down out of here back in May, which we call that to the T as well. If you go back and check my video that I did in May, you can see where I was talking about get ready for the euro to sell off, and we nailed that. So a lot of good stuff, guys. You guys know me, Channel Guy Trader. I do my own little channel analysis, and you guys see me apply some of this stuff in the chat room, in our trading room intraday, and it works. And this is the style that I've been doing for the past 2 years or so plus. So anyway, looking for the euro to continue higher. As long as the euro can stay above this 130 level right there, all right, or I call it, say, 1.3038, we should be expecting the euro to continue to trend higher. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar, which is in the penalty box, as this U.S. dollar just continues to get sold off, and we're coming to a key area as well on the U.S. dollar, because if we break below All right, let me put this studies back off again here. If we break back below this 78, 75 area, we could trade back down towards 78. Then we break below 78, we can really get some serious selling in the dollar. If you guys remember, let me drag this over. If you guys remember, the monthly chart I showed you shows a failed bull flag pattern on a monthly time frame. That's important on a monthly time frame, right? We had this little break of the nice little downward channel on the monthly time frame. Then you can see here we tried to flag up here off this nice expansion bar, held up there for about 3 months. And next you know, last month we broke down, and this month we're continuing lower. So what is this? This is kind of like a failed bull flag on a monthly time frame that try to break above the channel, so like a bull trap as well. Not looking good for the dollar. You can see the dollar weekly chart. The weekly chart on the dollar breaks below this the 78, 72 level. We can get some nice selling as well. Let's take a look to see what the commodity sector did. The coal stocks were on fire. Obviously, those been in play. We've been mentioning those for the past week or so. GLD didn't have a nice up day, I like to say, but it's hanging in there. Hanging in there. Let's take a look at silver. SLV, silver hanging in there. Let me put the moving averages back on the chart. Silver hanging in there as well, holding the 50-day simple moving average, holding this little 3150 level. Let's take a look at copper via the copper futures. And copper had a nice little recovery today. And what I see forming here on copper, guys, is a nice little cup and handle pattern with the channel, with the downward sloping channel being the handle. All right, you have a nice little rounding bottom and nice cup taking shape. So we're going to be watching some of these copper stocks. FCX had a nice little move today. All right, watching FCX, you can see FCX kind of has a little cup and handle pattern there as well in a way. SCCO is another copper stock you can take a look at. SCCO, this one's actually even stronger, and they have earnings going into next week. I would definitely be looking at this stock going forward. The weekly chart looks like it's ready to go. The monthly chart's looking great as well. And once this thing starts holding above 37.25 or so, 37.50, this thing's going to be off to the races. Nice volume came in today. They have earnings on the 22nd, which is Monday. All right, so let's take a look at our big boy stocks there. Apple, AAPL. Apple was down today. Remember, not really bullish on Apple, guys. I mean, I'm bullish on the stock in a way, but to really be bullish on the stock needs to be above 650. And you may say why. One of the guys in the room is saying, no, I'm bullish on it now. Well, I said you can be bullish on it now, that's fine, but really you can't really be bullish on the stock for the kind of like a nice little trend trade, and really until it starts showing you conviction that it wants to hold above this prior support area, which is now acting as resistance around the 650. So, by all means, if the stock gets back above 650 and holds above that level, then that means that this action right here is going to be a little bear trap shakeout, and we should see Apple rocket right back with the high. So, interesting area to watch in Apple is 650, and needs to get back above all these moving averages. I would be cautious trying to buy it right here unless you really see the market moving higher and this thing gets some momentum. All right, so that's my opinion on Apple. I know there's a lot of people out there that trade Apple. They're just like diehard Apple stock people. Where regardless if the stock's looking down, they still think it's going higher just because they're so much in love with the company. So I look at the technicals. I'm not taking anything else into perspective, just the technicals. All right. Amazon had a nice little bounce just like we expected. Had a nice little trade in this today. We had the 245 strike calls. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Before the stock really got its juice going, I sold my call options because I was like, oh, this thing's not really moving. Next thing you know, this thing explodes, and I missed out on a nice chunk of profit because I dumped them a little bit too early. If I would have held them for like 10 minutes longer, I would have said, okay, the trade is actually going to start working. So that's Amazon. But what was really the trade? All right, this is something we have to identify as traders. You hold the targets. All right, let the patterns work out. And what you have here is kind of like a little inverse head and shoulders pattern that's trying to play out. All right, we mentioned in the video how a lot of people that got short below 242 are going to be stuck in a bear trap. And you can see that's a nice little bear trap right here. We started holding above that 242 level, so those people started feeling pain. Market strong. Well, what are they doing? They're recovering their shares. Nice little rally up in Amazon, and this was what we called the Amazon. Caught this nice little candlestick in Amazon. Some traders caught it all the way up here. Had some traders in the chat room that were playing the weekly calls like I was, and they were actually trading it better than I did because they sold it up here. So anyway, just showing you guys we got some good call outs. Make sure you come check us out. Coal stocks, WLT. I mean, you guys know we were buying WLT back here on back here on the 4th of October. Go back to the videos where we were talking about that. So now now the coal sector is starting to pick up steam because everybody's pro coal, pro energy, and now everybody is keeping an eye on the coal sector. So now they're even more in play. You can even say we were basically kind of early to the party in a way right there. So anyway, it's better to be early than late. So anyway, so coal stocks looks to go higher. WLT, if this stock could break out over 39.78, look for this thing to get going here. A lot of institutional people like this stock. A lot of institutional firms and investors like this stock. You see volume is picking up, nice accumulation volume. And let's not forget, WLT has always been the favored coal stock as they had takeout rumors or bids all the way every time it was, every time it was over here. I forgot some of the dates, but throughout the year, throughout this year, they've been having takeout rumors, which I guess they haven't been following through with them yet because the stock was trading lower off the dollar when it was showing some strength, and the whole coal sector was just getting demolished. But now that we have natural gas prices starting to rise, people are starting to look into coal stocks. So just know that the sector's in play. Just make some money in it. So in any case, have a great night, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, in the chat room, 8:30. Be there or be square. Chat room is mywallstreettv.com. Password is smart. If you are an individual trader looking to get into the prop trading, you could contact me at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com. If you're looking for better rates and you traded a prop from already and you're not happy with your commission rates, contact me. I could definitely help you out with that. And if you're a trading group, we have group rates as well and all that good stuff. So have a great night, guys. Catch you guys mañana. Later.